Saludos a todos. Bienvenidos a Rebachol. Bienvenidos a la vida desastrosa del detective que no puede estar un día sin fregarla. Ayer descubrimos que habíamos destrozado el carro en la fiesta parda que se metió mi estimado Harry, tratando de olvidarlo todo. Recuperamos la placa. Menos mal, King no está. King ahorita está llevando el cadáver a la morgue y todo eso, haciendo el examen toxicológico y todo eso. Y nosotros estábamos aquí tratando de resolver el caso por nuestra cuenta o resolviendo cosas pequeñas hasta que llegue. Hemos cruzado el puente y ahora estamos examinando lo que hay al resto. ¿Qué pasa? Sonido de la vida en el norte. Una tabla de lavar limpia la suciedad de la tela. ¿Qué? El disparo no pudo venir de aquí. Los árboles bloquean el camino. Esto es uno de los lugares que... Sí. Bueno. Ahora pues. Recoldos carbonizados. Una hoguera improvisada con revistas para alimentarla. Arbustos demasiado gruesos y espinosos como para atravesarlos. No podemos pasar. Hemos llegado. Pantalones intersolidarios. ¿Qué me dan estos pantalones? Lo siento que no haya tenido ganas para hacer una televisión muy larga, pero uno más reina la conciencia. Teatrabilidad. Bueno. ¿Qué se reina la conciencia? Ves sábanas cubiertas de polvos tulipanes. House. Pues como decía, no tenía tiempo para hacer una introducción larga y me he metido directo al cuento. Porque, ¿cómo decirlo? Es que mira, esa noticia del carro me sigue pesando bastante. Chozas descubiertas. Hemos llegado por fin al pueblo destrozado que veíamos desde los lados. Manis. ¿Qué? Dinero. ¿Qué más hay acá? Es un pequeño cuarto. ¿Qué pasa? Los tablones crujen a tu paseo. A tu paso. Nos queda conducir hasta un banco de peces que nada entre las alas. ¿Y esto? Más dinero. El bote flota libremente en el agua, sin amarranar. ¿Y esto? ¿Qué hace eso entre los peces? Botas caballería franco-nigerianas. Bueno, en resumidas palabras, ¿quién no está? Resolver casos hasta que llegue. Buen día, señora.
Hi, officer.
¿Cómo se llama usted? Lelian la redera.
Anything I can help you with?
Eso depende. ¿Dónde estamos exactamente? Eres la primera persona que encuentro aquí.
A fishing village on the seashore. This place doesn't really have a name. It's sometimes called Elysium.
¿Por qué?
The sign on the street leading here is illegible. Has been since they built this place.
¿Cómo te llamas? Seguir adelante.
The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker. I think I have time for questions, and that was actually the second one.
Ask her about the cool sword. Helps to break the ice.
¿Sobre la espada? ¿Qué? Bonita espada. Ah, lo que tiene en la mano. ¿Alguna historia atrás de ese sable?
Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. It's to intimidate folks mostly.
Un momento, ¿sabes usarla?
Not really. I know some basic moves, and I know it sure as hell beats a knife when you're in a tough spot.
But not when you're in a tight spot.
Impone, desde luego.
It's a regular mass-produced sword, like a shovel or an axe. Nothing fancy, just for intimidation.
¿A quién necesitas mantener a raya?
From time to time, people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day, I caught the eyes of many men. And believe me, men need a lesson in manners from time to time.
Si es tan efectivo, ¿por qué no ser mamá? ¿Me presta la espada?
No, I'm afraid not. Tempting to confiscate the blade I used to keep these animals in check. You would put me in an early grave.
Vale, lo primero no voy a decir. ¿Dónde están ahora esos hombres?
Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Others were more thick-headed. And one of them, I ended up marrying.
¿Dónde está tu marido ahora?
Gone.
¿A dónde?
To the waves. The sea took him. It was a long time ago.
Oh, qué mal. ¿Qué pasó?
Who knows? Maybe he fell over. He didn't respect the sea. Went out there drunk like a skunk, and sure enough, one day the boat was found floating empty. The bloated corpse turned up 2 weeks later.
Marinero borracho, pescador borracho. Cayó del barco, se quedó ahí y el cadáver lo trajo al mar un par de días después. Típica historia. No es tan sorprendente como parece.
Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago, and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles.
Vale.
She really liked those muscles, though. It's in the way she pronounces sinewy.
El tiempo es la mejor medicina para la tristeza, ¿verdad?
Us working folk don't have the luxury to be bedsick with melancholy. I buried him, mourned for an appropriate amount of time, and went on. Life didn't really change that much for me and the kids.
Niños.
This is neither a touchy nor a very interesting topic for her. She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action.
Vamos a primero a recorrer las cosas. ¿A qué te dedicas por aquí?
Like I said, fish mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. Right now I'm tarring a little skiff.
¿Da para vivir?
Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea has given up. The sea is full of surprises.
Interesante. ¿Qué has encontrado?
Wood, pieces of glass. Every once in a while we see dead bodies. Human, animal, fish, other odd sea creatures. A mine washed ashore once. Bottles, drugs also. Lost cargo in general. Most of the time it's just wood and glass.
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
A ver, retórica. ¿Qué quieres?
Mines. You need minds.
¿Una mina? A la MCR le vendría muy bien. ¿Dónde está?
Well, the RCM has to wait for another one because some army folks came by, took it in the middle of the bay and blew it up. The blast was surprisingly timid for such a huge spiky thing.
¿Me puede ayudar? Estoy buscando a alguien.
Let's see. Who are you looking for?
Tenemos una lista grande, ¿eh? Criptozoólogos desaparecidos.
I don't think I know what these are. Care to elaborate?
Gente que busca animales muy difíciles de encontrar.
Aha! Like snowmen.
Algo así. Hombres de nieve. No sé nada de ellos.
2 old guys have been wandering around here, nose in sand, talking nonsense about snowmen and the like.
¿A dónde han ido?
Don't really know. Further down the peninsula, I guess. I mean, that's where they were heading. Who else are you looking for besides snowmen?
O un marido de clase obrera.
Yeah, I'm not really looking for that anymore. Not much into the middle class ones either.
No, el marido no es
Could do with some landed gentry, but apparently they don't make those anymore.
No, el marido no es para mí. Lo está buscando un hombre en nombre de una mujer. De su mujer, mejor dicho.
I wish I could help you with that, but I haven't seen your working class husband. Maybe I can help you find someone else.
Vale, eso es todo entonces. No busco nada más.
Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
Entonces, ¿ese esquife es tuyo? Son señalar el bote volcado.
Sure is. The Sun, I call her, coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue.
Días soleados. Pero si está nublado desde que estoy acá.
Aye. Sunny days. You got a problem with that?
No, mujer, ningún problema.
Good. It would have been bad news had it turned out it wasn't a sunny day. Bad news for the skiff, bad news for the nets, bad news for the kids.
There's a moment's silence. She looks at the rain streaming down the yellow belly of the boat.
¿Cuándo crees que estará listo? Puede que tengan que comprobar algo en una de las islas, el origen de un disparo, es por un asesinato.
Shot, huh? The boat will be ready when the sea turns and the winds settle. You can't command the weather, officer.
Bueno, eso es cierto.
My prediction, it will be at least 2 days.
Su visión espacial. Sobre la firma, yo ya he pensado que a Edward no le voy a dar nada. Así que vamos a investigar un poco más y ver qué opciones tenemos para hacer eso. Nos vemos. La manipulación heroica no. Por ahora no. Este es mi primer encuentro con la señorita Elena. Vamos a buscar qué más cosas hay por aquí. Desde este ángulo no consigues ver que hay dentro de la casucha. Pues sí, está cerrada. No podemos entrar. ¿Qué hay por acá? Más dinero. Material de conclusión. Quien planea construir esta casa se fue a toda prisa. Capaz si nos ponemos la palanca mágica. Ahora sí. Ahí me sol y dinero. El graffiti así lo quiero en la placa. Hay un chico por acá y una señora. Una anciana parece que no habla de un idioma que no le puede entender nada. ¿Qué? Ya, el sonido del interior de la casa. La lavandera.
Welcome to the fishing village. Please lean in closer. I have cataracts.
Inclinarse hacia adelante.
Oh, welcome, police officer. We don't cause any trouble around here. And we don't want any trouble either.
Soy policía, no causo problemas, lo resuelvo.
Oh, of course. Last time we saw you around here was 12 years ago. You also came to take care of trouble then. Wish you did. But still, in Martinez, you're considered an ill omen.
Espere, ¿he estado aquí antes?
No, not you personally. I meant the RCM. Some of the men got into a fight. One of them killed another. Locked himself in that woodshed over there.
Ah, ya, ¿y qué pasó más?
He was brooding, needed some help opening the door. You got it open for him and took him to think about what he'd done in a more secluded place, somewhere more quiet.
Vale.
She says it as if he was on some kind of spiritual retreat.
Lo llevaron al loquerío. O la prisión. ¿De qué clase de mal presagio estamos hablando?
Oh, the usual. Dark tidings. Black hound.
¿No será un gato negro?
That's you, all right. A black hound licking your own heels.
Soy un mal presagio, de acuerdo. Si se me considera un mal presagio, porque nadie me lo ha dicho.
Maybe they are afraid.
¿Por qué?
Because you're an ill omen. But you're still welcome here. As long as men with guns aren't chasing you. And maybe even then. Because that's the kind of fishing village we've built. I'm sorry there's not a lot of room to park the motor carriage. And not a lot of houses. Or a lot of people. My kids are long gone. Searching for treasure. So are others. Ah, look at me ramble on. What brings you to us?
Supongo que la conversación sería si Kim y yo estuviéramos acá, pero yo he venido solito. Vale. ¿Dónde podría alojarse alguien por aquí?
Stay? Most people here are trying to leave. That said, if lodgings is what you're looking for, I've got a free room in the shack.
¿Cuánto cuesta?
I won't charge you for it. Take it as a gesture of goodwill from the village to the RCM.
Pero un momento, ¿me lo está dando así sin más?
No one is using it, and God knows it's not much anyway. You can stay there.
Ay, señora lavandera, de verdad no va a hacer eso. Yo no voy a tener que pagar un mugrientos $20 a reales a Garte. Este tipo Garte hace toda la mañana. De acuerdo, lo acepto. Me lo está dando de buena gana, así que no tengo por qué buscar motivos a la señora. Aceptemos las llaves.
Don't make an old woman regret opening her house to the police.
¿Qué hay en esta aldea de pescadores?
Just us. It's barely a village anymore. We almost don't exist.
¿Y qué quiere decir con eso, con apenas?
This is pretty much a non-place. A gap. A blank spot on the map. Just a cluster of nameless shacks on a nameless street.
The place is so pornographically poor, it's not even funny.
Ay, Dios mío. Tiene que haber algo aquí. Puede contármelo.
Over there, you can find more of the same. Shacks and trees growing wild. That's the pox.
¿El Pox? ¿Qué es eso?
An old military hospital and its surroundings. Or it used to be, during the time of the suzerain. After the war, it was turned into a goodwill hospital for shell-shock veterans and folks looking for some quiet in the old sanatorium gardens. Now the area is crisscrossed with nameless streets and makeshift cinder block houses, shacks as far as the eye can see.
¿Y qué le pasó al hospital?
The goodwill ran out. The staff left and the place was shut down. It's long gone by now.
¿Quién más vive en esta zona?
Well, there's Lillian and her kids. A few new folks live in the house to the east, but they are away right now. And then there's the drunks. Not a pretty sight, but there's little we can do about it. Home is home, even for them.
Ya conocí a Lilian.
Lillian is tough. Tougher than the men here, at least. If it wasn't for her and the kids, this place wouldn't have a spark of life left.
Todavía no he conversado con los borrachos, creo.
Sooner or later, you'll see for yourself. Don't have to look long to find these guys.
¿Hay alguna manera de conseguir dinero, un poco de dinero por aquí?
Here, for you? No, officer. The only money we have here is some coins the drunks tried hiding from their women and then forgot about.
Este lugar es pornográficamente pobre.
The lack of wealth is the one thing we've got in abundance.
It's a cold, cynical smile.
Es lo que pensaba.
Then all's not lost. As you can see, even in pornographic poverty, people make do. At least those who remain.
There's nobody there.
De acuerdo, hay otro tema que me gustaría hablar.
She nods, rinsing another piece of cloth.
¿Qué hay más allá de la costa?
Not much. There's the abandoned church, the DeLorean Church of Humanity. It's been there since before my time, even.
¿Por qué está abandonada la iglesia?
Some things just don't fly, officer. Look around. Who'd go to church here? They built it 300 years ago. Must have been nicer then. The ecclesiastics have tried to get things going there, but things just keep happening. Crime, accidents, other things. The place never stays open. It's a pity. It used to be such a nice church.
¿Qué más hay en la costa?
Before you get to the church, there's some ruins, an apartment complex, or some kind of electrical plant. Run-down bunch of houses, empty.
¿Algo más que destacar?
Of note, the old fish market up on the boardwalk, but it's closed.
¿Eso es todo? Tiene que ver algo más de la costa.
What? You're one of those real estate people with big plans? If you want a development opportunity, you can check out the abandoned building over at Land's End.
Vale.
Used to be a supply depot, we think, sending goods and ammo across the bay. It's jammed shut though. We tried to get in, see if there was anything to sell or scavenge, but it's impossible. And now you know everything there is to know about this coast.
Háblame de usted. ¿Quién es y qué hace en esta aldea?
Me? No one. Just an old washerwoman. Mother called me Isabel, if that's what you're asking. And my married name is Sadie.
Isabel Sadie.
Now it's your turn, Mr.
Teniente Joffre número 2, segundo Harrier Dubaus.
Quite a handle you got there. So many titles. One of them double.
She's got a couple of ranks herself. Honored chief and so on.
Bueno, me marcho. Adiós, señora. Muchas gracias por las llaves. Así que tenemos llaves. Llaves de la casucha. Llaves de la choza. Ah, y esta es la choza. Veamos que hay acá.
The door has seen better days. The layer of paint has started to peel off due to the salt and wind from the sea. Even the lock looks slightly rusted.
Abrí la puerta.
The key turns with a satisfying click. You can enter the shack now.
Así que esta era la casa del policía antes que se lo llevaran al lugar, a un sitio más tranquilo. ¿Habrá algo sobre lo que pasó a ese policía? Y si nos quedamos en este cuarto ya no tendremos que pagarle a Garte, porque pagar 20 euros reales cada día es demasiado doloroso. ¿De dónde sacaremos tanto dinero? Ahorita mismo estoy con 20, estoy buscando monedas y todo eso del piso para tratar de subsistir. Veamos. Las tablas suelen crujen bajo tus pies. Chaqueta Korolev. Esta elegante chaqueta a cuadros favorece tanto tu tipín que te hace parecer un tipo serio. En el sentido de divertido de la sociedad también hace unos bolsillos bonitos, muy espaciosos. El complejo motor zumba quietamente, cálido y agradable. Revistas viejas de ciencia ficción, libros de ortografía y un almanaque del año 39. Alcanzas a ver el mar y las olas de una iglesia. Un espejo.
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with
Nos está dando las mismas opciones que nuestro espejo de allá. O sea, es como el apartamento que tenemos. ¿Y esto? Allá con la mesa.
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. A straight razor soaks inside the wash basin.
Quizás sería una buena idea afeitarse.
The water reflects back a vague image of your face. Nose bulbous and red, hair unkempt, wrinkles lining the eyes and forehead. You'll be looking like a pansy without the chops. A fucking pansy. A fresh start looms ahead. Clean yourself up and be born anew.
Se avecina un nuevo comienzo. Acícate y renace. Vamos para allá. Bien, espero que no me corte, ¿eh?
Like an artist with a brush or a master swordsman, you use the small mirror and the straight razor with some soap to remove all that unkempt hair from below the nose line. The sharp blade chafes against your skin, producing a scratching sound. The surface underneath the beard feels tender, the air brushing against it chilly.
Tenemos nuevo aspecto. Nos hemos cortado la barba y ahora parecemos por lo menos unos 10 años más joven, creo. Preparo tus mejillas recién afeitadas.
They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. A feeling of freshness overcomes you, as if you just came from a cold bath.
¿Ha sido buena idea?
The water reflects back a vague image of your clean-shaven face. Despite the bulbous nose, unkempt hair, and persistent swelling, you look a little younger, maybe.
Bueno, creo que estamos más presentables ahora por lo menos. Y esta cama es lo mismo que la cama de allá.
The bed is comforting, if a bit run down.
Todavía no es tiempo. Todavía tenemos cosas que hacer. Costas que descubrir, iglesias que investigar, maridos que buscar y borrachos con quien conversar. Hasta que King llegue. Pero en serio, qué buen gesto de la señora de darnos la casita. Aunque parece que no hay muchas cosas. Esperaba algún misterio, algo así como el de... para encontrar lo que pasó con el policía. La verdad es... un misterio más, un misterio menos. Y esto... más botellas. Y aquí está... compañero. No llames a Abigail.
The noxious odor emanating from the drunken man is strong and familiar.
Don't you call her. Yeah. Don't call Abigail.
Soy la ley.
Abigail. Oh, Abigail.
¿Quién es Abigail?
Uh-huh. Abigail. Don't you fucking call Abigail.
Never thought you'd see such a thing in your life. But this guy's a little too drunk.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Quién eres?
Don't call Abigail.
¿Dónde estoy? ¿Qué sitio es este?
The man hiccups, then mumbles something unintelligible.
¿Qué me puedes contar tus amigos?
Don't you fucking call her. Hear me? Abigail.
A ver, escucha, llevo importante investigación oficial y detección que respondes a mis preguntas.
The drunk man starts coughing a really disgusting, hacking cough.
¿Por qué no debería llamar a Abigail?
He snorts and beckons you to lean in closer.
No es buena idea, pero veamos que a dónde nos va esto.
Don't call Abigail. Don't call Abigail. Don't call.
Esto no dio 5 de experiencia. Lo que nos ha dado experiencia ha sido aguantar lo que nos ha hecho. A ver, ustedes que están más cuerdos.
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy?
Yo también me alegro de verte, tronco.
So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. I also have speed. And by speed, I mean amphetamine.
A su madre. A su madre. ¿Anfetaminas?
Aye, by amphetamine I mean speed.
Creo que no me has oído cuando dije que era un policía.
Sure did, buddy boy. That's why I said amphetamine. I mean speed. I mean amphetamine. I got both.
Pensé que por speed te referías a anfetaminas.
Aye, that's what I said.
Sí, ya.
Good, my man. Now what can I offer you?
Menudo negocio tienes aquí, ¿eh?
Oh, the system's been good to old Rosemary here, and I'm milking her like a bitch goat in the backyard.
¿Qué quieres decir con eso?
You see, friend, man makes his own luck, and I made mine real good. Got my hands on 3 bottles of liquor ex-squeeze, sold 2 to the fellows around here, and immediately invested the profit. Bought cigarettes, bought beer, even bought a bit of speed. And look at me now. I got everyone on my hook.
The hook? Where is it? I can't see it.
Parece que tú también estás enganchado.
Of course. It is what it is, you know. What it's always been. People, buddy boy. It's the people.
Vale. Ay, Rosemary. Borracho siempre, borracho. No, Harry. Bueno. ¿Y por qué tienes un licor que te cuesta 300 reales? Licor medicina azul. ¿Qué es esto?
See, friend, it's real valuable. Worth every real, if you catch my drift. Got it from a bit of a business venture.
A sentir.
You know, it's funny, actually.
He's finding it difficult to focus his watery gaze.
What?
¿Cómo que? Antes habías dicho que tenía su gracia.
This guy.
¿De dónde sacaste la botella de licor?
Oh, this is medicinal spirits. The good stuff. Got it from the doctor's office.
O sea, es etílico, totalmente.
I got one of those scientific ampoules a few months ago. Torpedo, they call it. It's supposed to keep a man from taking a drink. Didn't stop me for shit, that's for sure. 5 lemons with half a pack of butter and you're good to go.
Por Dios. Parece peligroso.
It was. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all kinds of help. Finally, the missus took me to a private doctor's office. Not a charity, the real thing. Those arseholes charged me £4 to remove the damn thing. But I came out on top after all.
De acuerdo, pero ¿cómo?
The idiots left me alone in there. Now, I used to teach high school biology. I know what doctors use to preserve dead thingies.
Ay, Dios mío.
It's like 3 cans of this blue medicinal stuff from the back room. Threw the snakes out and voila! What's left is this beautiful blue stuff. 98.7% almost pure alcohol.
Esto no es licor. Esto es alcohol puro.
2 I already sold to these fine gentlemen here. But this last one is yours for £3, if you want it.
Don't say it.
Claro, me sería útil, sí.
£3 and it's yours, friend. The deal of a lifetime.
Well done. You got it.
3 reales.
Just make sure to enjoy that one, friend. In the civilized world, it's a custom to tip the shopkeep, friend. But come back anyway.
Rosemary, nos has dado un licor del 97%. Lata de combustible, recipientes de necesidad, la buñada que se puede transportar en la colina y ya. Licor medicina azul. Vale 8. Puedo venderlo por 8. Ah, una ganga. Líquido tintado de un sol sobrenatural. El tipo que podría brillar o no brillar, pero que desde luego brilla en la oscuridad. Es un 98.7 alcohol puro. Mantente alejado de cualquier fuente de calor. Y el segundo caballero, que parece que es el que está mejor vestido.
Hey, Tequila! Good to see you. How's business? How's the whole reality situation treating you?
A ver. Recordando, nuestro carro estaba lleno de botellas. Nuestra casa estaba llena de botellas. Así que estos son nuestros compañeros de tomar, porque tomar solo es aburrido. Y este hombre ha tomado por 3 días seguidos, así que eso obviamente tiene compañeros en algún lado. Así que estos son nuestros compañeros de tomar, o los que eran antes de que perdiéramos la memoria. Les echamos la mano, no hay que decirles que lo hemos olvidado.
So what's happening?
Espera, ¿tequila?
Yeah, Tequila Sunset. How are the, high-concept, reality-based adventures proceeding?
Good. These people know your true name. Looks like it has preceded you, Mr. Sunset. More on that later.
Llevo una racha perdedora que dura 50 años. Me están fallando los tiros de básicos. Un desastre. He vuelto a entrar en la habilidad para conquistarla, para doblegarla a voluntad. Yo soy la ley.
That's the spirit. I used to shape reality into my image a long time ago. Those days are over now. Sadly, things aren't going that well in Idiot Doom's Spiral Land. Haven't found those keys yet, haven't won that great piece of ass back. No word from my business buddies.
¿Qué haces aquí?
We are saving the world.
Ok.
Please! Please don't call! Don't call!
Okay, we're drinking. We're drinking alcohol. That's what we're doing. I tried to save the world once, a long time ago, with enterprise, creativity, and willpower. But that didn't work out.
Espiralin infortunios. Ay, Dios mío.
So now, it's a pirate's life for me.
¿Qué es un tequila sunset? No déjate decirlo.
It's you. You're Tequila Sunset.
¿Cómo lo sabes?
We've met before. Don't you remember?
Tal vez.
Maybe. You look like you want to know how Tequila Sunset came to be. You look like you want to hear the tale.
Tequila. Tequila Sunset. Something ominous there.
Mundo interior me están diciendo que no lo escuche. Ay. ¿Saber o no saber? ¿Vivir en la ignorancia o no? Adelante.
Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday, and by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. The man, the myth.
¿Estaba solo?
Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. This is your story. Stop interrupting.
Vale.
You got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. And by the worm, I mean the buzz. Because as far as I know, all you did was get pissed drunk. Word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer, and that it would be really fucked up if you shot yourself in the head right in front of them. That's pretty high concept, if you ask me.
Ay, Dios mío, por Dios. Ay, Dios mío, ¿por qué pregunté? Harry, ¿qué has hecho? ¿Por qué?
Does that sound like something you'd do? Yeah, probably.
¿Qué pasó después?
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this, we get our drink on 24/7. Makes everything warm and glowy. I trust you know the feeling.
Ya.
One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza, followed by a series of dings and bangs.
Do you remember the sound of wood cracking? The billboard?
Eso lo he hecho yo.
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're in.
Naturalmente.
Anyway, there was a brief silence, a gasp of silence, if you will, followed by a real commotion. We heard the carriage careening towards the coast at top speed. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of an alcoholic.
Me encanta esa expresión. Nunca subestime la velocidad de un alcohólico. Claro, en carreteras les va muy bien, ¿ah?
What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage containing you. Right there on the beach. You revved the engine and screamed at the top of your lungs, "The time hath come!" So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, I asked what time hath come. To which you replied, "The time hath come for Tequila Sunset, the end of all things!"
No decir nada, así resulta más digno.
After which, your reality contracted. You jammed the pedal, plowed right off the jetty, and through the ice.
Your hands cramp on the steering levers.
We ran towards the ice, whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt, covered in seaweed and shit, like some kind of sea monster. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was too late to get in there, though. The carriage had sunk too deep. Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolences and invited you to party with us, which you naturally agreed to. We asked about the whole Tequila Sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now and insisted that we all call you that from then on.
Entonces, Tequila Sunset es un evento o un hombre.
I'm not sure. I think you were the event. Tequila sunset. You know, as opposed to a tequila sunrise, which is long gone.
Sí, se fue Tequila. Ah, Tequila Sunrise se fue. O sea, ha habido otro. Mi verdadero nombre es Harry.
No, that's just what your mother called you. Your real name is Tequila Sunset. Just embrace it, brother.
¿Cuánto duró la fiesta?
Hours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, I think it was Sunday morning, you got belligerent and wanted to talk about Revacholian women.
Ay, Dios mío.
How they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while, you crossed the event horizon, looked sullen, got up, and left without saying anything.
¿Estás seguro de que fue así?
Trust me, Tequila, it happened. Just ask one of these other witnesses.
Ya no quiero preguntarles, creo que ya me he dicho todo suficiente.
Aye, every word he says is true.
See?
¿Te conté algo más específico acerca de la persona que me fregó?
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard, and that we've all been fucked too.
Please, don't open that door.
No one's fucked me. I do the fucking around here.
Abigail.
Abigail.
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit.
Mencioné haber perdido algo más.
Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or something. To be honest, the details are a little hazy. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one.
Sí, eso sí, claro. O sea, no hay nada que supere eso. Bueno, lo segundo, creo. Dije algo acerca de mis colegas.
You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers whose main interest was cramping your style. No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were the star of the show.
Dije algo acerca del caso.
Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone to do it. You're doing it solo now.
Llegamos a charlar de política.
Yeah, you said that you'd really behaved unreasonably and failed to uphold your responsibilities as a representative of the coalition.
Así que el antiguo Harry era parte de la coalición. ¿Qué clase de policía pensaste que era?
You kept calling yourself a goddamn superstar who'd cleared 501 cases.
Así que superestrella viene de esa. Ah, ya veo, o sea, son residuos de nuestra memoria.
As you've already determined, the actual number is just over 200. But what's a little embellishment between friends?
No thanks to the squares at the precinct, as you put it.
No necesito escuchar nada más, gracias.
It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs.
Tienes una narrativa muy buena. ¿Te gustaría contarme más en otra historia? ¿En otra cosa?
Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than a beach bum.
¿Te apetece contarme cómo te convertiste en espiral de infortunios?
It depends, really. Are you willing to help me out?
The gleam in his eyes and the slouch in his posture is so incredibly familiar. You might get scammed here.
¿Quieres algo de beber, verdad?
I don't want it, man. I need it. Can't tell stories without it. Dry stories are boring, you see? So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me.
Tengo un poco de este dulce comodoro rojo.
Classy.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Abigail te la pasa muy bomba.
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George. But around here, I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder/junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went jogging every so often to keep myself sane.
¿Correr te ayudó?
It did. With my trusty Sansaric tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer the world.
Como tienes pinta de correr.
But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit.
¿Qué pasó?
One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are clouded, his dilated blood vessels encircling his irises like stinging brambles. His eyes are your eyes.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see. At least, that was the plan. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, very quickly.
Continúa.
I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass.
Ay, no voy a decir nada.
Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. But when life knocked me down, I always got up. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment key.
Vale, ¿y qué pasó después?
I rang my neighbors' buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something and hung up before I could even explain the situation. People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best. Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, he'd already done it, and I couldn't get in. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a homeless man. The company, well, you see where I'm going with this. So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh?
Espera, ¿eso es todo? Me parece que faltan un par de pasos.
Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time. If there was anything else to it, I would have thought of it by now.
¿Eres consciente de que todo es culpa tuya?
I don't remember you being such a dick before, Tequila. That doesn't mean you're wrong, though. Anyway, that was all the tale one bottle gets you. Almost empty, this one.
¿Por qué sigues perdiendo todas tus cosas?
Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this formerly premium but now extremely dirty two-piece lycra tracksuit? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket, but then I lost it too. The only things I haven't lost are these two drunks.
¿Cómo se llamaba tu agencia?
My agency, man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the lowest forms of marketing. The color red, breasts, and oil painting. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high-concept cultural incubator called Thin Air. The artists were happy, the clients were happy. I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a new universal poetic language. But then it all went to shit.
Vale, de acuerdo, olvida lo que he preguntado.
Asking is how you get ahead.
¿Qué pasa con el chandal?
What? You've never seen 100% lycra before? Go on, feel that primo material.
Harry, no tengas ideas ahora de robar el chandal al pobre hombre.
You really shouldn't touch it.
Lo admitiré desde lejos, gracias.
That might be the right idea. This here is one of the last of its kind. Should probably be in a museum, honestly. Can't...
Wow, you're lucky. He never lets me feel it.
No sé, instinto me ha alertado, no sé por qué. Y no les he hecho caso. Por no hacerle caso, he recibido 2 golpes, así que esta vez le voy a hacer caso.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosemary. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them anytime.
¿Dices que has perdido una chaqueta?
Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Sure, it didn't really go with my lycra threads, but it did itch a lot less. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila?
Espera, ¿le estás pidiendo a un inspector de policía que encuentre una chaqueta que robaste y que después la perdiste?
Yeah, exactly.
Vale, ¿por qué preguntas?
You're here to serve, right?
Sí, claro, ¿dónde la perdiste?
If I knew where I lost it, don't you think I'd have it? I mean, maybe I was up by the boardwalk, or walking along the beach, or checking out the abandoned fish market.
Bueno, es algo. Esos son muchos lugares.
Somewhere north of here, that's for sure. You could ask around, see if anyone's seen it.
Dejar que te pregunte algo más.
I'm all ears, Tequila.
¿Tienes alguna otra historia?
I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift.
¿Será para esto el licor azul? A ver, démosle. Tengo este licor medicina azul, ¿qué te parece?
No, no, no. Contrary to popular belief, I enjoy being alive.
Vale. Joder, ya te di un poco. Paso de seguir haciéndolo. Dejarlo por ahora.
Then I can't keep you too, Tequila.
Así que a este hombre hay que darle licor para que nos cuente cosas. Y... ¿qué hay por acá? ¿Qué pasó?
A drop in temperature, an easy flow of air, an empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries. No more drivers smoking on hitch steps. Just silence.
Aquí olía lomo.
Chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. Corrosion has opened a hole in its roof. An elm tree watches over the building. Its branches are dripping with rain and snow. The road is smooth and motley. Craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt, first laid, is grey already. A row of tenements are under construction in the distance.
¿Qué hay de la parada de autobús?
Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. The bus took them to school. It has not run for 8 years. There were not enough girls to sustain its cost.
¿Qué hay de la carretera?
Craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy trucks full of black pitch rolled in. The landowners have filled the craters with money. It is a vital artery of the flow of trade. There's one bump on the road. A dead dog lies flat about 200 paces away, right at the turn.
¿Un perro muerto?
Tragedy comes from the wheels of a fast RCM vehicle, hurrying to work. The cold washes over you. The sound of the sea has grown distant.
No habré sido yo el que habré matado al perro viniendo para acá. Ay, Dios mío. Espero que no. Suficiente.
The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the boom barrier. A breeze moves a curl of his hair.
Espero, Harry, que no haya sido tú el que mató al perro. Todavía hay muchas cosas que investigar por acá. Apenas hemos llegado a la aldea. Hay una chica. Dos chicas y dos chicos. Bueno, una señorita.
The scruffy-haired
anciana.
little boy kicks a stone. He can't be more than 5 years old. The other one looks indistinguishable from him. He watches his brother kick the stone with his tongue lolling out of his mouth.
Vosotros debe ser los gemelos de Liliana.
This one doesn't say anything, kicking the concrete with his worn-out sneaker.
Lily's our mum.
Eso es lo que he dicho.
The stone kicker laughs suddenly. His head is too large for his shoulders. The other one laughs as well. The stone kicking isn't even of very high caliber. Anyone can do that.
Sos clavaditos.
The stone kicking one becomes frantic all of a sudden, as if that's something to be scared of. The obvious fact that you just stated.
He looks just like me.
Sí, eso he dicho.
The boy doesn't answer. His brother throws another rock. Both of their hair is covered in some kind of dirt. The rock kicker was just being shy, but now he's enthusiastic again.
Vale, niños, cuidaos. Los chicos están ahí en su propio rollo. A ver, veamos la casilla. Esta debe ser la casa de quién. De la señora, supongo, porque no creo que la señora vaya a estar ahí todo el día lavando. Pobre esta aldea. Pobre de nosotros, Dios mío, ¿cómo voy a hacer? He hecho eso de ponerme una pistola y decirles a todos voy a pegar un tiro. Esto es cálido y seguro, no como afuera. ¿Este es un chico o una chica? Una chica, creo.
Hello, mister.
Pequeña Lily. Hola.
She clutches a small stuffed animal. Occasionally, she twirls it around.
Ah, claro, esta es la niña. ¿Eres la hija de Liliana?
Yes, I am. Little Lily. You know my mom?
Sí, nos conocimos antes.
That's nice. My mom is great. She's never angry or anything.
Los gemelos que ya fuera son tus hermanos.
Yes. They don't want to play with me. They're older and play outside. They look the same. Sometimes I can't tell them apart.
Son idénticos, ¿verdad? Yo también te dije lo mismo.
They look identical.
Qué chiquita, qué monada la chiquita. ¿Qué es eso? Señalando el pájaro disecado.
It's a grouse.
Wow, ok.
You might be able to get on Gart's good side if you replace the broken skewer you almost certainly broke.
Sí, pero ¿para qué sirve?
I don't know.
¿Me lo puedo quedar? Conozco a alguien que le encantan los pájaros disecados.
Sure, just go and get it. I don't like it anyway. It looks angry.
Ja, vale. Gracias, Lily.
All right, you just need to grab it from the ceiling and go.
Me hablaron de una niña que tenía unos guantes de armadura. ¿Eres tú?
Oh, I had gloves. Very big ones. Heavy, too.
¿De dónde los sacaste?
Found them when Lemmy and I were playing hide and seek. In an empty house. where no one lives. I think someone hid them there.
Ya.
She doesn't want you to think she stole them.
¿Y en dónde están los guantes ahora?
I hid them. The twins were gonna take them. They're stupid.
Necesito esos guantes.
Why?
Lo necesito para una investigación policial súper importante.
Oh. They're in my sandcastle. Behind our house. Under the sand. You can break the castle. It's not very good.
Lo siento. ¿Qué es eso que tienes en tu mano?
It's Lammy. He's my friend. Sort of. Like...
Lambie is a stuffed lamb that, admittedly, has seen better days. One of the eye buttons is missing, and the fur is tattered in several parts.
Lambi parece suave.
Yes. Very soft.
Acariciar el Lambi con tu mejilla.
Isn't he soft?
Sí, lo es. Sí, lo es, pequeña Lily. Bueno, Lily, nos vemos.
Bye.
Qué niña tan buena. Y ahora nos llevamos al pájaro uruguayo desecado. Ay, Lily. Lily. Esta aldea es totalmente bonita. Desdichada, sí. Llena de borrachos, sí. Pobreza, sí. Faltan más cosas de las que lo que quieren. Con muchas necesidades y todo. Pero la gente es buena. Creo que esta es la gente más buena de Rebacho que he encontrado hasta ahora. No son como Kuno. Y hablando de Kuno, ¿sus padres tendrá padres? Y este debe ser el castillo de arena.
Weather has not been kind to Lily's little sandcastle. The once mighty towers are quickly eroding away. You can see something shining back to you from what must have been a vast underground catacomb network.
Alcanzar las catacumbas y sacar el objeto brillante.
The walls and floors give way to the giant's greed, collapse and present you with a pair of ceramic gauntlets.
Y ahora tenemos los guantes. Una pequeña golondrina negra te sobresuela, la oyes cantar. Oigan, chicos, ¿por qué no juegan con su hermana? Si quieren algo bueno, no sé, oye.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
¿La pequeña Lily es vuestra hermana?
Yes.
Sí.
Yes.
Y ya está, ¿no se está haciendo un poco lacónico?
It doesn't look like he knows what that means.
Ah. Vale. Un adulto no debe meterse en problemas de niños. Pues sacamos los guantes y sigamos descubriendo qué más por acá hay. Para el asunto de las firmas, creo que eso es algo que vamos a tener que resolver junto con quien. Quiero escuchar su opinión de él. Resolviéndote la mirada del mar, de color tú. Sí, pues somos un desastre. Unas letras oxidadas. Masut. ¿Qué será Masut? Más dinero. El neumático trasero de un carruaje motorizado aguantó metros bucales. Viaje rápido desbloqueado. Iglesia. ¿Y esto? Es un puente levadizo. El ritmo de una persecución música procede de un lugar del hielo. Un banco de peces se pina en torno a la valla. Más dinero. Lleno de agujeros. Podría tener un tesoro. Mirar adentro. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Una botella? Alcohol, potente pilsner. Oh, vale. De ahí tenemos alcohol para darle, mi estimado. Otros palitos. Y acá. Y más acá. Y ya no creo que son todos. Y a ver qué más hay por acá. Perdón. Sientes la sombra de un edificio enorme cerrándose sobre ti. Distingues bancos polvorientos de las sombras. Parece que faltan muchos. El letrero pone San Brun 1147. Así que esta es la iglesia. Un teléfono roto, un auricular aplastado, como si hubieran colgado con demasiada fuerza. Hay que ser animal para destrozar la cúpula del plástico.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone, unless you're out of change.
Levantar el auricular.
You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable.
Introducir 10 centavos y marcar un número al azar. 05 24 03 155.
Calling.
¿Y ese teléfono de quién es?
Still calling. This feels wrong. Should you be doing this?
No lo sé, no sé quién estoy llamando. Solamente lo estoy haciendo.
End of tone. Someone picks up.
Pierre, is that you, Pierre?
Podría ser. ¿Cómo es Pierre?
So nice of you to find the time to call me. It gets so lonely. Even the animals have died.
¿Qué tipo de mascotas tenías?
Are you sure you're Pierre? Your voice, it's different. There. Chrysanthemum.
Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sounds like waves washing a beach, growing in volume until the call suddenly disconnects.
¿Qué fue eso? Dios mío, ¿quién estás llamando, Harry? Probemos de nuevo.
Calling. Still calling. Again? Seriously? Someone with a masculine voice picks up.
Hello, Gerard speaking.
Hello, Gerard. Technically speaking, you're electricity. No, what you are is a surprise. Get his wife on the phone.
Oye, Gerard, pásame con tu mujer, ¿quieres?
Who is this?
¿Qué más da? Pásamela. Voy a seguir con el juego de teatrabilidad. ¿Qué más da? Pásamela. No me gusta que me hagan esperar.
Who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that?
Lo siento, no debe haber hecho.
Just tell me what's going on here. Bien, come here.
The sounds are muffled. You can make out two people, a man and a woman called Bien. They're talking to each other in agitated voices. There's a shuffle of feet. Children, maybe.
Oye, teatrabilidad, ¿puedes decirme por qué hiciste que haga eso? Bueno, yo lo hice, pero ¿por qué? ¿Por qué?
Amid the howling in the wire, you make out a woman's voice with a thick Samaran accent. Gerard, this is a joke. Someone is making a joke. More shouting. You're pretty sure you hear a man saying fuck several times. Then The crackle in the phone line gets violently louder, like the surf breaking. You hear a faint thunk. You could swear you're hearing furniture falling over.
Ay, Harry. Harry, ¿qué carajo estás haciendo? Ya vale, solo me estoy bromeando, no me estoy haciendo eso. Alguien que está haciendo todo eso va a querer escucharte. Espera, girar. Venga, colega, habla conmigo.
You can't make out a single word, just vague voices. One more, a child has joined. Something breaks or falls over. Footsteps approaching.
Teatrabilidad, maldita sea. ¿Por qué querías que hable con eso yo? ¿Por qué querías que esa conversación vaya por ese sentido?
Something hits the phone with a loud crack of plastic and microphone hiss. After that, you are left with the disconnect tone.
Creatividad. Ay, Dios mío, ¿por qué te hice caso? ¿Por qué te hice caso? Siguiente llamada.
Calling, calling, calling. Still calling, still calling.
Stop calling me, man. I'll get you your money, alright? I just need till tonight. Let me work.
Vale, pero yo no quiero cambio de planes. Quiero que se entregue en el William Rags. Dios mío, ¿qué hago? Todos podríamos ser un poco más amables entre nosotros, ¿no crees? Considera tu deuda pagada, amigo. ¿Qué digo? Le sacó dinero al pobre tipo. ¿Sabe qué? Vamos a ser honestos. Parece que estás en problemas. Tal vez pueda ayudarte. Soy agente de policía.
The phone gets hanged up fast as lightning. All you hear is a little shuffle of nylon as the hand moves on the other end. Disconnect tone.
Vale, menos mal. Menos mal. Siguiente llamada.
Calling.
I'm tired.
Sounds like he hasn't talked to anyone in quite a while.
¿De qué estás cansado?
Writing. I hate writing so much. But I have to get back to it.
The man disappears with a sigh. You do not hear the customary disconnect tone, just silence in the handset. The machine is still waiting for you to dial a number. Seems like it did not have time to swallow the coin. This sometimes happens. Lucky you. The call went too fast for the payphone to register. You can still make a new one without paying.
Marcar una llamada con los ojos cerrados. Veamos qué tal nos va.
You close your eyes and feel your finger move.
Era un 83%. ¿Por qué me haces esto?
Followed by 7 digits at random. The last one makes the silence turn into a ring. It's calling. Still calling. Still. Time keeps passing. In the distance, seagulls squawk. No one is home at this number. But the coin, it's still in there. What were you trying to achieve by closing your eyes? Did you want your muscle memory to take over and call somewhere? Where? Home? He doesn't have a home. Not anymore.
Por el amor de Dios, conectividad. Era un 83%, por el amor de Dios. ¿Sabes qué? Que te den. Tengo 3 puntos para dar. Ay, maldita sea, te odio. Conectividad.
There's still some unused change in there. The machine waits for a number to be dialed.
92%. Vamos.
You close your eyes and put your index finger on the rotary dial. Then pull down on the number. Then move one up. And repeat the motion. Twice. Strange. This is not how you started before.
Sigue marcando.
414447. The rotary dial feels cold from the sea air.
Seguir marcando.
1117361. Your fingers keep moving like a spider. Every time the ring rotates back with a little ring of metal.
¿Hay más?
Like a bet. Yes. 451-67451. You are going deeper now. Into some unknown place. Far away from this island of matter and its telecommunication networks.
Terminaron.
451. You have dialed God knows how many numbers. The headset has been waiting silently to relay a signal. Surely nothing can come of this, you think. But it does. A connection. An ultra-long distance call. Your air fills with a crackle. The wash of a strange ocean full of white noise. A little bird starts ringing in there. Not like the local calling tone before. No, a small ring in a cage of distortion. Calling. Calling in the night. Calling still. Ringing by the bedside of a dark but capacious apartment with long windows. You know this to be true.
Umbral del dolor. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué estás saliendo tú ahora a hablar? ¿Qué es doloroso?
The handset starts slipping from your sweaty palm. Your breathing is heavy.
Ventanas alargadas. ¿Cómo lo sé?
You just do. And you know it is going to hurt.
Dejar que siga llamando.
Calling, 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 calling still. Then the ocean breaks. Out of the depths, a woman's voice emerges. Small. The dearest thing you've ever heard.
Hello?
Maldita sea. Hola.
Who is this?
No puedo decirte quién soy. Tengo un plan secreto para conseguirle a la especie humana 3000 años de paz en este planeta. Tengo que ser omnipotente y omnisamente impreciso. Esa voz, esa reacción de dolor, el motivo por el cual tú tiraste tu carro al mar, por qué cogiste la pistola y te apuntaste a ti mismo enfrente de toda esa gente, por qué gritaste tequila son 7. ¿Quién es la razón? Mi estimado Harry, ¿qué vas a hacer? ¿Le vas a decir la verdad? Dile una tontería. Creo que esto podría servir de algo.
You're not ominous, Harry. You're drunk.
No estoy borracho, ni drogado, ni herido. Solo estoy herido. ¿Por qué me duele hablar contigo?
Oh, God.
No decir nada.
Do you know what time it is? It's so late here. It's 4 o'clock, Harry. I need to wake up in 2 hours.
Ay, Dios mío, Harry, ¿qué se le puede decir a tu ex a las 4 horas antes que se despierta? A las 4 de la mañana o 2 de la mañana, quién sabe. ¿Seguro vas en 2 horas? ¿Qué le digo? ¿Qué le puedes, quién le podrías decir eso? ¿Qué le podrías decir? Pero estas son las únicas opciones que puede pensar Harry. Soy la ley, un inspector de policía, estoy llevando un caso, hay un hombre ahorcado. Es todo lo que puedo decirle. Lo único que se me viene.
She does not answer anymore.
Lo resolveré. Es lo único que te voy a decir.
Harry.
Disconnect tone. The machine ran out of money.
Dejarlo. Aquí el pobre Harry ha sufrido mucho. Si llamaré acá en la noche. Y eso. Ay, Harry, amigo mío. Harry. Y es por esto que yo no me metí en psicología de terapia de parejas. Y me quedé en psicología organizacional. Si uno tuviera que escuchar cada historia. ¿Y esto? Señores, ¿quiénes son ustedes?
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You, officer, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I was just telling my son about this building. Not many people appreciate the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Espera, ¿qué decías de las ventanas?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
Bueno, estaba hablando sobre el edificio, continúe.
Very important. Mikhail, say hi to the officer.
Este hombre me da un poco de mala espina, pero bueno, ya.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
¿Qué tiene de fascinante un viejo edificio y vacío?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Mirar el edificio que llega ante ti.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
No creo haber oído hablar de Electricas Field.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here.
¿Qué hace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
¿Una computadora cinta?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
¿Y qué pasó?
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
Es algo como que pasó en la Primera o en la Segunda Guerra Mundial, que como en Estados Unidos, que empezaron a actividades que no iban relacionadas a la guerra, le fueron reduciendo recursos y todo eso. Caricaturistas que iban siendo contratados para la guerra y todo eso, y cosas así. Deberían ver la historia de Walt Disney para más detalles de eso.
All of this was built by Feld, even a boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
¿Me está diciendo que Electric Field construyó este paseo marítimo?
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A wheel!
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
¿Qué hicieron los revolucionarios con todas estas computadoras avanzadas?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
¿Cómo?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02. It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser d'Insolente. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
¿Cómo funcionan estas computadoras de cinta? ¿Como en las radiocomputadoras?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware. 10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Humpty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Juice joined the team.
Wait, did he just say Humpty Dumpty Dum?
Sí, lo ha dicho bien como si nada. Es bien raro el nombre.
He did it. He said Humpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Humpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juice?
Hasta la enciclopedia se está rayando. Vale, pero el centro Wumpy Dumpy Paul Ockerman, ¿de qué narices me habla?
The Humpty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to...
Este se lo está inventando todo. Oye, ¿tu padre se está inventando todo esto?
In fact, I'm not. The Humpty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was
made of black film and folding tape structures.
Mola.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, It pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The felt playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07.
Un momento, ¿cómo que el experimento de reproducción de Field?
Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the felt playback experience.
¿Por qué lo destruyeron los revolucionarios?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
Quería preguntarte otra cosa.
But of course, what else?
Tienes pinta de tener dinero. No, vale, gracias. Gracias por toda esa información. Yo no necesito dinero ya, así nomás.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Michael here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
¿Y usted cómo ha llegado a parar aquí? Pensé que este lugar estaba abandonado y todo. Pero el señor parece que tiene buena pinta, buen traje y todo. Inclusive trae a su chico a pasear. Qué raro. Dinero. Medicina. No se puede seguir por acá. Field, electronical field.
You see, a once bright mural towering above you. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains.
Apenas.
It says, tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Qué frase más extraña, pero a la vez peculiar y irónica a la vez.
Ah, yes, their famous motto. A fine example of technological optimism from...
Sí. Ya escuchemos bastante el discurso. Un poquito me decía cronométrico. Uy, no. Qué memoria de cronométrico. Se puede bajar por acá. Más gente, pero primero quiero ver por acá. No hay ningún bote en el barco, pero en esta parte de la costa no se transita desde hace décadas. Gente, gafas de superestrella desmedidas. El cobercito está como de forma chapucera, una fuerte brisa la podría derrumbar. Por alguna extraña razón la música del este está empezando a sonar. La pintura está vieja de esta en la parte superior. Así que todo esto pertenecía al complejo ese internal field. Pero luego ya vinieron los revolucionarios y todo se fue al carajo. La gente pagaba por aparcar aquí, fijo que ahora nadie lo haría.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
A ver. Visión espacial. Visión espacial. Visión espacial.
Scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall.
¿Por qué hay tantos agujeros de la bala? El misterio, descubre la visión espacial.
A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet, no sound, no movement.
Las víctimas de la revolución. ¿Qué pasó cuando me preguntaron? O sea, había una pregunta con el señor. ¿Qué pasó con los obreros de la empresa? Pues aquí están.
10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. The sun blazes high up in the sky, baking the planks, the sand, your skin. The order was carried out in the afternoon. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains.
¿Qué es esto?
The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
Observar la gente del paredón.
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them.
¿Quiénes eran?
Collateral damage on the path toward normalcy and progress. Such is your belief, officer.
Observar a la persona que está al margen.
The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
¿Quién era quién en esta ejecución? Necesito hacerme una idea.
I'm just a representation of your mental faculties, piecing together any available information. You should probably ask the lieutenant.
Vale, pregunta a quién.
A cold sea wind blows.
Pero bueno, creo que eso será todo por ahora. Aquí parece que tenemos un par de cosillas que no podemos saber más sin estar con King. Espero recordarlo para el próximo episodio. Preguntarle a King sobre este también. Quedan lo de las preguntas del departamento y esto. Aunque tal vez a King no le vaya a hacer mucha gracia. People Farm. ¿Qué es esto? People Farm, ¿qué es? Ah, un sombrero. No queda mal, lógica. Y por acá no hay nada más. No. Por acá no hay nada más. Terminamos de buscar toda esta zona. Pero bueno, como decía, eso es algo que veremos en el próximo episodio. Muchas gracias por ver el episodio hasta ahora. Aquí tenemos más gente, parece. ¿Qué están haciendo? Parece que pinta de safari o algo así. Pero como dije, otro episodio. Otro esto. Perdón, ¿qué es esta cajita amarilla? Ya. Nos vemos para la próxima. El video de Mahoka vs Atore Mayux está traducido ahorita al 75%. Me falta un cuarto más. 3 días más de traducción. Es un poco largo, como he dicho. Y luego este video de Durarara, que por lo parece que no va a ser tan largo. Hasta la vista.